Yeah, 10 minutes late. You guys are gonna have to forgive me for that, but whatever. Starting off, as usual, as if nothing happened. Welcome back, everyone. Bitcoin's price is still pretty low, pretty good price for accumulating. 101,551. Tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff. We got a lot of geopolitical updates, Trump's comments on the shutdown, what we can expect from it, more on the tariffs from the Supreme Court, that kind of ruling. We have some news about Canada and potential elections that we may have, a budget that was proposed. A lot of still moving around between these politicians, leaving the Conservative Party to join the Liberal Party. What is going on? How much are they being paid to make this transition? Resigning even. We're going to be covering all of that, as well as a couple of more partnerships between companies, and Aster exposed under CZ. We did talk about him purchasing Aster and what that implies for the markets here. Maybe CZ's integrity is not fully there yet. That's all I'm going to say about it, but we'll discuss all of that in more detail. So let's jump into it. First off with our technical analysis. So Bitcoin is still in its downtrend, of course. We have been trending down ever since we broke the uptrend on October 30th. Since November, October 30th, we already know what happened around that time. It was an important period of time between the FOMC meeting, Jerome Powell's comments on December rate cuts, probably not going to happen is what he said, or don't expect it to happen. It's not guaranteed, which that's not what we want to hear. Trump Xi Jinping meeting, it went well. We got what we wanted. We got the trade deal, and there were no tariffs imposed on November 1st. So why weren't we pumping? Well, because there's still other factors going on. The shutdown, of course, I talk about it a lot, but it is genuinely a damaging thing. And the Supreme Court tariffs ruling, whether or not it is legal or illegal for the president to use tariffs to our advantage. Twice in the past, it's already been ruled in our favor. We're back at it again over here because they just will not let us breathe. But we have some news to talk about on that. No specific, final decision has been made, but we have an expectation as to when that can be done, and it's a long time. So that's going to be looming in the background for a while, and we're just going to have to deal with it, right? Similar to how we're dealing with other stuff that has just been going on in the background for a long time. As of right now, the shutdown, war in Russia, Ukraine, that's still going on. Potential war with Venezuela, have some news on that too. And other stuff as well, I don't know. Nigeria, the talk about maybe the US getting involved in there to stop Christians from getting killed. Seems like there's a lot of the Muslim population there are just killing Christians. So the United States is maybe going to be intervening if the prime minister does nothing of Nigeria, does nothing. So we have to wait and see for that. Right now for Bitcoin, though, it seems like we found our, I hate to say it, but yeah, this is the comfort zone. As long as we are above 100,000, everybody seems to be calm right over here. We're not as fearful, I think. Hold on, let me check the fear and greed index. We're at 36 in the fear level. We're not at extreme fears, but guys, Bitcoin's price is at 100,000 plus, and we are fearful. You buy when people are fearful, in my opinion, not financial advice. You're going to lose money in crypto, guaranteed. But I am buying, I have been buying, and I will stay buying. What did I do? Did I take any profits? I don't even remember what I've done. Aster. I was shorting Aster and I hit it properly, so that was great. Could have made more, probably. Does it show where I sold? No, I took profits at the right time. I shorted basically from the top. Not exactly. Where did I start my short? 113. We were at 116 high, 117. So 113, that's pretty good. We were right at this white line and I took my profit basically where we are at $1.01. That's pretty good. Good short on Aster. And that was with a bonus fund. I think that's the most I've ever made from a bonus position. It was going to close automatically in 24 hours either way, so yeah, I would have made, what, $53? Fine, but I made 50 from it, which, that's pretty good. I'm content with that. We'll leave it there. Other than that, hyperliquid plasma. Plasma, I'm gone. I already explained why I left. Don't plan on entering plasma ever again, so that slot is still empty here, waiting to be filled with another asset of my choosing. Still have to kind of have a look and determine which one. I'm feeling a bit criminal. Might put Binance in here, honestly. I'm hearing a lot of stuff going on with Binance. I don't know if we should trust this CZ feller, but I mean, Binance chain itself is pretty good. They've got a lot going on. They're trying to promote meme coins on there. I don't think they're going away anytime soon. And BNB has just been around for such a long time that I think they're well established. And as much controversy as there is, people do trust them. We've got Zach XBT joining them. We also have other news that BNB will be a validator for Say network, another altcoin. So it seems to be used, or wants to be used more and more as time goes by. I will not look at the USDT chart. I will look at the USDC chart if I do plan on buying. Do I plan on buying it right now? Probably not. Nonetheless, it's at a decent price, but the downtrend is still there. If I want to be safe, that means I'd have to wait until, I mean, if time plays correctly in my hands, 1,000 plus I'd have to enter, which, that's pretty high. I was struggling at Binance, what was it, $400? I was trying to buy last year, and it was painful to see it not even rise up as much to 500, and it was stuck around 400, 300 during that whole period of time, and I got bored of it, and I just left, like, this is not a volatile coin at all. You know what, I'm getting PTSD. I don't think I will invest in Binance, but just, you know, why is Aptos just 13% up right now? Oh my gosh, we're in the green. Hey, you know what I'm gonna do? Should I even do this? I got a really good entry price. We're not really overbought just yet. I want to put a stop loss on here, just in case, right? I get stop lossed out if that is the top point, because it's very likely that we are about to no longer rise from here. Or do I just close my position entirely? What do I do? It's so likely that we're about to bounce down from here. I just paid attention to this now. Like, that's the more likely scenario. We've got so much stuff converging over here. This downtrend line, super trend line, 304. The current price is 303 on Aptos. My average entry is 298. I'm making 100 with where we are right now. As I talk, I'm losing money. What do I do? Well, I guess we lost the money. All right, we missed the train. It is what it is. 306 as well was a good support that has now become resistance. So many factors. Sudden surge in the price. Oh well, we lost the chance of making 100. Oh my gosh, do I just close right now? Nah, because if I do, where would I re-enter? That is the big question. I'm gonna have to wait for like 275. Is this a dead cat bounce? Why are we rising? What is going on with what's this called again? Aptos. Here we go. Something in recent hours, definitely. This has got to be some form of an important partnership or something. Short squeeze, I don't believe that. Accumulation phase speculation, don't believe that. Token unlock absorbed, neutral impact. No selling pressure from a token unlock that happened November 5th. That was yesterday. Prices rose 8% post unlock despite 25% lower volume. Reduced panic selling implies stakeholders may be holding, possibly awaiting higher prices or staking rewards. I'm not sure if I buy that. We're on our way back up a little. I mean, if we do cross 100, I think I will just go ahead and take profit. Might have to do so. Hey, Blowin' Chunks, welcome, sir. How we doing? I'm doing great, thanks. Officially down 50k in the last 365 days. Rest in peace. I think we're in the same boat, to be honest. Well, hold on. Last 365 days. No, I'm down more than you. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah, no, everybody that was in on alts, October 10 was a really bad day for you. Everybody suffered. But, I mean, my silver lining, my way to kind of continue forward, of course. Well, first of all, it was a huge reality check when we all lost that big sum of money. It's like, okay, yeah, we lost a lot of money, but what really is money? And I was pretty rich, and then now I'm not that rich, but I'm still kind of okay. I don't know. Being rich is subjective, but it's like, okay, well, at least I'm alive, I'm breathing, I have my family, you know. Forget the distraction of money for a bit. That's kind of how I felt on that day. Yeah, it sucked. I lost a lot, but whatever. And the good news is I know what to do. I've done stuff that has made me that money, of course. If I just keep doing what I'm doing, yeah, I can make all that money back. Another liquidation event like October 10 is probably not going to happen for another decade. Or I'm probably speaking too soon. What if it just... I don't know. We've looked at analyses, and it's looking like a lot of people are too scared to do leverage again after what happened on October 10th. A lot of people have just straight up quit. We saw that. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it'll eventually kick back in once the FOMO hits, once things, you know, we're waiting to get out of this downtrend in general for a lot of these tokens. And when that happens, the FOMO will kick in. So that's when we should expect over leveraging to happen again. But that time it will be in our favor because we are supposed to be already in. It's kind of my view on things. We're back at 90s over here. I feel like that's going to be a huge resistance where we are right now. Can we hit 100 so I could just take profit? I probably shouldn't. This is just an abnormal rise, and we're not even overbought yet. That's kind of what's confusing me at this point. Because we could just continue rising. You know, it's bad when I'm wishing I just bought SPY. I know, right? Everybody is looking at the stock market's performance versus cryptocurrency's performance. And they're like, some people actually just completely switched over. They're like, you know what, screw crypto, I'm going into the stock market. In my opinion, I mean, sure, yeah, retroactively, you would have made a greater return on the stock market than in most cryptocurrencies at this point. But where we are right now, stock markets are, relatively speaking, still pretty high versus the crypto markets that are still pretty low. How much more potential of growth do the stock markets really have, in my opinion? So I think that the potential right now is more in crypto markets, especially after we had that huge flush out of liquidation. We're starting off from scratch. Everything is kind of retraced a little bit as well. There's currently fear in the markets, but fundamentals are strong. We're seeing lots of partnerships going on. It seems like President Trump is more bullish than ever. He's been commenting a lot about crypto. We're expecting, you know, once this government shutdown to end, to get back-to-back ETFs approved. I would expect a rate cut by the end of the year. It's got to happen, right? The higher chance is still in our favor that we will be seeing rate cuts, but markets are just fearful, overreacting. Import the Wall Street, become the Wall Street. That's basically what we're seeing in the crypto markets here as well. That being said, you opened up positions in SUI, HBAR, and Aster. I don't know about that Aster, but SUI, HBAR, good choices. They will be getting ETFs soon. I still strong believer in SUI, of course. HBAR, did I buy? I think no. I bought HBAR, and then I got liquidated on it, and I just didn't buy into it again because the ETF already came out. I'm like, okay, well, I missed the sell the news event. But I mean, overall, it will still continue to perform well. Most altcoins will perform well. Don't get me wrong. Once the FOMO really does kick in, so anything is like very cheap, good bargain right now. 120, I'm out. 123, whatever. Keep rising if you really want to. Yeah, okay, I'm out of Aptos. I will rebuy. I'm expecting like a definite bounce over here. Because like I said, there's just so much stuff converging at this level. This pivot line. Super trend. Previous support become resistance that I've drawn. Historical low, I think, at that point. 306. Downtrend line. It's all there. Like, everything is just pointing to rejection downward again. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I made the right choice. Whatever. 120 is 120. Aster at 80 cents. Sui at $2 flat. H-bar 19 cents. I agree. All really good prices. Especially Aster. But that's, I've got my reasons for Aster why I don't plan on really getting into it. Oh, it's at $1.01 right now. Yeah. I mean, but it did drop to 81, low point. This is the CZ candle. This is after he rugged you. But no, I still think Aster, it's got its potential. It will still, it's going to stick around for a while. But when we were talking about like who's going to win, Aster or Hyperliquid, I'm sorry, but I'm on team Hyperliquid when it comes to that. So yeah, it's my thoughts on it. But like I said, I still think it will be sticking around for sure. It's going to rise when things rise as well. So it's not out of the question. There's a huge community behind it still. So yeah, that's fine. Sui, I mean, yeah, I might as well go ahead and look at these other coins. $2 flat right now. How is XRP? Let me have a look. Because I've been comparing the two. Okay, so Sui is worse right now off than XRP in terms of price. I made like a little race. Who will win this cycle? I still think Sui right now. Even at these prices, it's basically really good to be getting into. I have funds to buy. I don't think I will yet, just in case we drop a little lower. We are technically still in a downtrend on Sui, and the super trend is still making its way lower as we speak. So, yeah, my average entry is a little... I'm saying this is high. 229 is not really that high. Like, when it comes to Sui, we were talking about Sui $3, $4 at one point. The fact that we're at 229 here, it just makes you want to hold on to Sui and not let go. But I can't marry the bags here. Yep. It's going to hurt, but I think we're going to not put more in. Unless I'm getting closer to being liquidated, I will have to put something more in. 92-cent Cardano position looking bad. Yeah, Cardano has been suffering. I think I bought Cardano. I did. 61 cents. That's where I bought into. Thinking that I was a genius at buying oversold. No, we kept on being oversold. It just keeps on dropping, basically. Cardano, it's like, what is even going on here anymore? Downtrend is still strong. It's solidified at 59, almost 60 cents. Basically where my entry price is. And we're at 53 cents on Cardano. That's painful. Hey, did we drop to 50? We dropped to 49. Once again, we did the thing. That's crazy. Look at this. Cardano USDT. I think I have it drawn here. I do. This 51 cent line, I'm going to lock it in place. Let me go to like a daily chart. Look how many times we hit the support. Like this is clearly an important level. 1, 2, 3. We bled out over here, but that's not fair. October 10. And then just now a couple days ago, bounced. I mean, we had a low of, what is this? 48.9. Yeah, basically 50 cents. And we're at 53 right now. Coming out of oversold on the daily chart even. I never really look at daily charts RSIs because I feel like it's way too slow. But when it comes to like, you know, opportunities for entry, especially the fact that we're practically at that oversold level. We're at 30 on the RSI. Would be a good idea for an entry here. But I don't want to. I really don't want to. Where's my position? Oh, it's on USDC. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just there with Cardano. What happened with me? I think I got liquidated, or I might have exited. I don't remember. Whatever position I was in, I was definitely gone. I think I was buying at like around low 80s, 70, high 70s. Around that point. Yeah, I definitely got liquidated or something. That's the only logical explanation as to what happened. What is this? Order 0. I didn't put an order. What is this? Scam? Scam much? What is going on? Am I being hacked? No, actually, what is this? Order. What do you mean order? I never clicked it. Do I actually have an open order? I don't want to buy Cardano here. Are you crazy? I mean, I do. No, I don't. I don't really want to. What is this? I can't even get rid of it. Whatever. I'm just going to assume it's nothing and hope my account isn't going to explode and only buy Cardano. It seems like Charles Hoskinson's hacking my account. He's like, oh, I'll teach you how to buy into Cardano. Utility. No, but it's struggling as a chain. So yeah, there's Cardano. Ethereum, it kind of, hold on. What I had drawn over here, this downtrend line, would have been like a little signifying way of when to enter into Ethereum, which would have been around 3,350, right? It makes sense, right? Because sure, you could have put a trigger order over here and it would have filled at that price, which that's basically what happened with me. But if you want to be safe when things are crashing like this, you don't want to catch, it's like trying to catch a falling blade or a knife, right? You're never really going to time the exact bottom. Nobody would have guessed that 3,047.23 cents was the bottom. Not even I, with the great mind I have, would have guessed that that was going to be the bottom. So what other people do instead is they'll draw like a downtrend line like this, a very steep one. And as soon as, you know, Ethereum has made its drop and is on its way recovering back up, that is when you enter. And that level, it basically, luckily enough for my case, was at exactly the 3,350 level. That being said, we're kind of coming down a little bit. 3,330 is where we are at. My average entry is at 3,593. It's still a little high. It's not even that high. Like, these are really good prices on Ethereum. I do know for sure we will go back above 4,000 and I will be in a really good profit. And I do expect, you know, us to be around the 5,000 level at some point eventually. That would kick off the alt season. But obviously I'm not going to be holding on to it for too long because I've learned my lesson from that. Although, I don't know, sometimes I've held long enough and I've made huge returns on really good entries after being in a massive drawdown for months, let's just say. That's kind of how I made a huge chunk of my returns. Obviously, that's not an ideal way on how to do things. If you're going to do that kind of stuff, it's better to do it on spot. But I like to take a bit of a risk. I would do 3x leverage and triple my returns in that sense. Of course, with more risk than actually getting liquidated on a lot of positions. But 3x leverage, you're relatively safe unless you get an October 10 event, which, like I said, that's probably not going to happen for a very long time anymore. So, yeah. Ethereum's downtrend is still there and steep decline on the super trend. So, no level of stabilization just yet. Kind of hovering around where this support level is meant to be. This uptrend line, by the way, gone. I will delete it. Moving on. Solana is at 155.92. Yeah, I'm gonna always regret not buying at 146, but I just wasn't expecting it to crash that low. I bought over here at 166. This, not even that level. I bought at the top of this down candle. That is impressive how bad I am, but it's still there. Whatever. Down 3% today. Downtrend is still there, on its way down, of course, following this downtrend line. So it's looking at 175 so far. I think it's going to drop to around 172 before it stabilizes. That's going to be the important resistance on Solana, 172. I'm still in the negative with Solana. Hyperliquid. I mean, yeah, technically we are now in a downtrend after breaking the uptrend with that little blip that we had over here, which I should have bought, averaging out these two. Once again, missed opportunity, but whatever. This uptrend gone for now. We'll see where it takes us. Hyperliquid still super trend. It's still on its way down, so we gotta wait for things to stabilize a little more. BitTensor, I'm glad to report I'm finally in here, but I'm a little high, 402. We dropped to a low of 367 in recent times, and we're currently at 385, so about midway between what I would call a range around this area. So hopefully we eventually break up to the upside, but it will be short-lived. We're going to be met with a resistance. It's looking at 470 currently, although if we, you know, maintain ourselves in here for a while longer, eventually as time goes on, Supertrend will follow this and kind of try to make new levels, staying around the downtrend line that I drew because I'm just good like that and everything follows what I say. Sui we kind of already looked at. Yeah, no big change here. Chainlink, I've got a lot of news with partnerships on Chainlink, and zero impact on the price. That is just impressive. But Chainlink, genuinely good project nonetheless. Resistance at my entry, 16 something. Current price is 1486 if you care. We recovered from the low point of 1368. Wouldn't have guessed that entry, so that's just there. Yeah, I'm safe with Aptos here. Cool. Everything else in the red. Bitcoin. I've got a full Bitcoin here, so that's pretty good at least. I'm well packed up in here. This time I'm in it with 5x leverage, which is a bit more riskier, but I mean, I'd have to drop to 80,000 on Bitcoin to be liquidated, and I mean, by that point, by the time it drops below 96,000, I will be out of Bitcoin and I'll be like, you know what? Cycle is over. Pack your bags. We're going into a bear market for 2 years. But that's not going to happen, right, guys? We got a huge amount of buying activity, of course, over here prepared in case Bitcoin's price approaches 96,000. We're likely to see a huge bounce up. We have the uptrend line. We have Fib extension. We have a support level from Fib around this area, averaging out. I don't know the exact low point, but it's going to be around 95 to 97,000, where I do expect a bounce. Best indicator of all is in the weekly chart, the super trend. That level is still 96,338, and it's the uptrend that we have been following ever since the bull cycle has started. USDC chart doesn't give me enough historical data, so let me show you USDT chart just to reinforce what I'm talking about. It's kind of worked out pretty well whenever we are in a bull market. You know, this is throughout 2021, shakiness over here. 2021 November continued upwards, and then by December 2021, if you paid attention to the super trend, you would have been out and you would have survived the bear market for the 2 years or however long it would have taken. 1 year over here. January 2023, if you paid attention to the super trend and bought when it flipped to the green, you would be at a massive return, because so far we have maintained that uptrend and it looks like we're approaching the end. That's what a lot of people do indeed think, but I think we deserve at least one more leg up to the 150,000. I do think the 150,000 seems like actually like a very likely area for us to be hitting as a cycle top, right? There's that, and hold on, let me go back to USDC chart. My personal target is still the 135,000, and that's based off this Fib extension that I drew from low point August 5, high point January 25, April 7 low, and connect those 3 dots. That should give you these kind of levels. It accurately predicted the first times we broke all-time high to 120,000, like 122, 124, ultimately where we are at 126. You know, it predicted some support levels. It's currently predicting this one over here, 97,000. So that's where I see things right now for Bitcoin cycle. One more move upward, and then we can pack our bags and leave. But I will be out by then, so we'll see. Okay, that is all for our technical analysis. Wow, took half an hour for that, and we still got a lot of news to cover, so we will go ahead and get into it. So, Trump's comments on the government shutdown. I know we talk about it every day, but it's important. He says that the shutdown is caused by the Democrats. We're not going to spend $1 trillion or $1.5 trillion on healthcare for people that came into our country illegally. They should have, at least as they've done in the past. The funding should have just been extended. That's his reply to all that. And we have some speculation from Politico news outlet claiming that a deal is close to reopen the US government. And I even think they said something about this week. I'm gonna actually confirm this just by literally copy pasting this, see what comes up with Politico. Deal to reopen the US government is close. Okay. It's close, it's close. The deal is near. Okay. Yep, that's all. Never mind. I thought it was a mention on this week specifically, but no. It might have been a different tweet or something. Trump also commented on Venezuela, saying that we have no plans at this time to launch any military action against Venezuela. Good, we don't want wars, but also we don't want drugs, so which is it? Which way, Western man? President Trump will also, or was giving a surprise announcement. This post came out and it's like, oh, by the way, we're going to have an official announcement at 11 a.m. in the Oval Office, according to the White House. I was there. I waited at 11 a.m. Nothing happened for 1 hour. And at 12, that's when they went live. And it's like, okay, by that time I was already in the shower. So I stepped out of the shower, I started listening a little bit. And, I thought, I don't know why. Every time they say there's going to be an announcement, I get too optimistic. I get my hopes too high. And, thinking that it's going to be something about crypto. Are they going to pass the Genius Bill? Are they going to announce the strategic reserve buying that they will be buying I don't know. But no, it had to do with Big Pharma, basically. And also just a general Q&A section. Trump talked about the Supreme Court in this announcement. This was afterward. The Supreme Court, if they strike down his tariffs, that means America will have to pay back trillions. This is a thing that I didn't have confirmation on how much we were going to be refunding if we lost the case. I've talked about it already. And Trump claims we're taking in trillions of dollars. European Union gives us $950 billion, Japan $650 billion, South Korea $350 billion. So if the Supreme Court ends up ruling that Trump's tariffs are illegal, we're going to have to refund all the tariffs that we have collected ever since they have been imposed. And that's just going to be a huge disaster. I've explained that. So markets are, of course, hoping that tariffs are legal, ironically, because, markets crash when there are tariff announcements, but now we're wanting the tariffs to not be illegal. It's because if they are illegal, the economy is ruined, right? I don't know. Maybe it could be a good thing. Maybe the Fed will just inject a lot of stimulus and lower rates like crazy to stabilize the economy. That's going to be one way to do it. But, short-term effects, we're going to have a even bigger crash, right? And I don't know. It goes both ways. Whatever happens, we're going to crash. It seems like there's no way out. Tariffs get announced. We have 80% drop on your favorite altcoin. So it's like, okay, what do we do anymore? U.S. Trade Representative Greer says that a Supreme Court ruling on the tariff authority could be delivered before year end. That is a long time. This is going to go on for over a month is what it seems like. And I don't want it to. I want this to just be resolved. Just say, you know what? Tariffs are legal. Trump can do whatever he wants and leave us alone. Pump the bags and we'll all be happy. But no. Anyways, during that meeting, a Pharma exec collapses in the Oval Office, which was unfortunate. And then he just immediately cut off it like, oh, well, what's going on here? It's this guy right over here. I'll talk about him in more detail. And he faints or something, tips over. People are saying he dies from cringe live on air. Okay, it's a bit rude, but no. The Hill said it was David Ricks, CEO of Eli Lilly, a pharmaceutical company, but Newsweek issued a correction saying it wasn't Gordon Finlay. It wasn't. What? Gordon Finlay, CEO of Novo Nordisk. It was actually, yeah, the Novo Nordisk executive, Gordon Findlay, another pharmaceutical company, Novo Nordisk. He collapsed in the Oval Office. He fainted, but he's fine, right? People are saying, look, RFK Jr. just sees this happen and he just walks off. And other people were criticizing Trump for just standing there and pretending like he doesn't care, just staring at the commotion happen, right? There's criticism from both ends. People are already attacking RFK Jr. and President Trump for how they handled the CEO collapsing today. But here's the facts. It's been reported that RFK Jr. immediately ran to get help because, well, he's not a doctor. And in a medical emergency, the best thing you can do is step aside and let trained professionals in. It's not like he just walks off because he doesn't care, right? And Trump stayed where he was because it's a security concern. So, yeah, I don't know. Nobody knew at that moment what happened. Like, what happened? Did he get poisoned or... No, it was just a normal fainting. It's not normal to faint, but yeah, he just fainted or something. Both men handled the situation exactly how they should have. Don't let clippers of the media twist it into something it's not. So there you go. Fact checking live for you guys. Another thing that happened is Uzbekistan trade deal. Trump says he's thrilled to announce an incredible trade and economic deal before between the United States and Uzbekistan. Over the next 3 years, they will be purchasing and investing almost $35 billion, and in the next 10 years, over $100 billion in key American sectors, including critical minerals, aviation, automotive parts, infrastructure, agriculture, energy, chemicals, infotech, and others. I want to thank Uzbekistan's highly respected president. Here we go. Shavkat Mirziyoyev. We look forward to a long and productive relationship between our countries. Cool. And before I move on, I guess I should have talked about what they announced in the pharmaceutical thing. By the way, I didn't watch the faint happen live. Like I got bored after listening to RFK Jr. in his speech. And I mean, what bottom line is that like they're trying to lower the prices for medicine, right, for drugs, so that people can consume it, because, you know, America, 4% of the population of the world consume, I think it was 13% of all medicine worldwide. And these companies are trying to rip Americans off by jacking up the prices when it's, you know, cheaper in other parts of the world. One of the big things was like, you know, a rule that was going to be implemented where if some medicine is sold for cheap in the cheapest price in whatever part of the world it may be, the United States will have to match the cheapest price. So what the pharmaceutical company would have to do if they want to keep their prices high is also increase prices in whatever cheap part of the world they're selling that medicine in. Something like that to stabilize, you know, make it fair is kind of what he's saying. Of course, the pharmaceutical companies are not really going to like that, but yeah. There is also announcements that they will something with investments between those two companies. So I don't know. I don't really follow too much on when it comes to global healthcare and none of that stuff. Representative Anna Paulina Luna just said that she will try to force a vote on a congressional trading ban once the House is back in session. She says that members of Congress are getting insider info prior to market moves. Of course, this is coming from Quiver Quantitative, and we do know that for sure. Nancy Pelosi will be stepping down. She will not seek re-election, so we have no one really to look for. So I'm technically against this. I feel like everybody should be afraid to trade stocks, and if you're a member of Congress, yeah, you should report the trades that you make. I think the time frame of that should be a little sooner, because I think it's like 2 weeks, the time frame that you're allowed to offset the difference between when you report you purchased an item. And by that time, I mean, if you had insider info, the stock price already made its move, or when the announcement comes out, like, I don't know, Nancy Pelosi bought Tempest AI, the thing will surge as soon as that news comes out, right? The price will surge. So it's like, okay, by that time you're already too late. So I think they should just reduce the time frame of it. And of course, insider trading bad, but I mean, it's fair game if we know somebody from an important sector is buying something related to the sector that they're working in, because they potentially have connections and have a good outlook of what's to come. So I don't know, it should give us some incentives on what to do as well, right? I just hope if they do pass this act, it's going to be called a Pelosi Act. That would be the best thing ever. All right, moving on to Canada. Budget 2025 is what these liberals are trying to pass, which includes I think it's an $11 billion deficit, something like that. They're projecting $2.5 trillion in new spending over the next 5 years, which will be roughly $100,000 per taxpayer. I don't have $100,000. Today, Mark Carney said the return on investment on all this money is $3,000 per Canadian. So we're spending $100,000 to get a 3% return for over 5 years. I would rather buy, what's a terrible asset? I would rather buy gold. No, gold is not a terrible asset. Really, what's the worst asset out there? I would rather buy literally anything else than, you know, be participant in all of this. I mean, it's fine, I guess, if we're getting some form of a return, but it's pretty low, and I'm pretty sure nobody really likes this. Yeah, like literally GICs, bonds, stuff like that. Give better returns with no risk. It's like when this Canada pension plan were able to crush it with staggering 1% return. Yeah, literally. Anyways. Movement going on in the House of Commons, members of Parliament resigning, changing teams. Here's what's going on. Conservative member of Parliament, Liberal Tory Samuel Story, has announced he is crossing the floor to join the Liberal caucus. He's switching from Conservative to Liberal. We had another guy do this yesterday. I forgot his name. He was French last name and from Nova Scotia. So that's 2 guys now, which now brings the Liberals to 171 seats. And now another guy is another person from Nova Scotia, another member of Parliament. His name is Randall Leahy. He's from Sunnyvale, J-Rock. He has announced that they will cross the floor to the Liberal Party as well. So that makes 3. Well, okay, once again, it's the same number. Brings the Liberal seat count to 171. Just one short from a majority government, because they need 172 for a majority government. And to make things worse, Matt Generous resigns as a member of Parliament, taking away 1 seat for Pierre Poilievre. Of course, he was a Conservative, and he's gone now. Resigned from Parliament, which puts Liberals 1 seat away from majority territory with his vacancy. It's really, what is going on? A lot of Conservatives are just leaving the party here, or just switching over, whatever the case may be. It's not looking that good, and of course this improves the odds. If the Liberals have a majority government, I mean, they could just do whatever they want, right? They don't have to, I think they do still have to pass a vote, but it's more likely, of course, that it will pass because they will vote in favor of it. The bill that we're talking about here is that budget 2025 that I talked about. Of course, Conservatives will oppose it because of the deficits, but the Liberals are going to try to approve it and try to get other members of Parliament from other political parties to go along with it. The first vote of confidence on the budget is set to take place today, or it basically already happened at 5:45 p.m. The New Democratic Party, Bloc Québécois, and Conservatives will have the chance to trigger an election by approving the opposition amendments, right? That's why we're talking about potential elections by the end of this year. If this does not pass, the Liberals will call for an election, rearrange the seats. I'm sure they have something up their sleeves to try to get a majority Liberal government in office. It seems like it's whatever they're doing is working here with the other members of Parliament who are trying to switch over. And that way they can once again pass those votes and pass the vote to get that budget in effect. And by the looks of it, the NDP, this other political party, they say that they will vote with the Liberal government on first budget confidence vote. So it's not looking that good. What even happened at the end of the day? Can I just see what happened here? What were the results? Because it happened at 5 p.m. Do we know what the results were? Okay, Parliament's first confidence vote failed. Yes. Thursday evening, after failing to secure support from, oh wow, the Bloc Québécois, NDP, or the Green Party. So these are minority governments. Is that right? No, minority members of Parliament, parties, right? Okay, cool. It looks like they voted against it. Good. And of course, Conservative Party would have opposed it as well. So it's literally just the Liberals versus everyone else. It looked like they were, oh boy. It looked like they were going to vote in favor of it, but looks like no. Wow. Okay, cool. There's your little update. I don't know when the second vote of confidence is going to happen or if they're just going to call an election. It looks like election is likely because, I mean, we're already seeing some campaigning going around. So, yeah. Moving on to crypto news. Robinhood is considering buying Bitcoin for its balance sheet. They're basically going to become Coinbase, which is good. Let's go. We do need that. Charles Schwab Bank. will begin offering Bitcoin trading in the first half of 2026. The banks are getting involved. First, little by little, and then all in is the way I see things. But, I mean, it's become, when it comes to stuff like the Genius Act, right? There's a debate going on here. Coinbase versus the banks. Coinbase argues non-issuers should be allowed to pay stablecoin interest, and bank groups are pushing the Treasury, to ban yield across the board. So we're talking about the yield, right? The staking, the rewards, the interest that you get paid for locking up your stablecoins with the Genius Act. Should you or should you not get interest if you stake, right? Obviously, if you stake, you are getting interest. So should staking or not be allowed or not? That is what the question is here. Coinbase, of course, is fighting for innovation, while banks are fighting for control, I think is the best way to describe it, right? Because that's what the argument is. Non-issuers should be allowed to pay stablecoin interest. The old system fears what it can't tax. Stablecoin yield is the new savings account, because that's what the competition is. If you can just get an interest from your stablecoins at a potentially higher percentage, then what's the point of keeping your money in a bank savings account with minimal interest, right? They're mad they didn't invent it first. I don't know about that, but yeah. And it makes sense, right? If it's saying non-issuers. Yeah, whatever. I think you guys get the point, right? So there's that going on. We still have yet to see what happens with this Genius Act. Japan's SBI Digital Markets, which manages $78.6 billion in assets, has chosen Chainlink as its exclusive infrastructure provider. Bullish for Chainlink, but we are not pumping on the news. Another thing for Chainlink, WisdomTree has integrated Chainlink to bring on-chain NAV data for its CRDT fund. No idea what that means, but I'm assuming it's good. Aster drama. Okay, let's do it. So you guys remember that post where CZ said, hey guys, look, I just bought some Aster today using my own money. I'm going to highlight that word, using my own money on Binance. I'm not a trader, I buy and hold. Sure, we believe you, bro. Well, this post came out on Aster today saying, hey, we got a utility upgrade. Aster is now live as collateral on Aster Perpetual with 80% margin ratio. So you could use Aster as collateral to pay trading fees and enjoy a 5% fee discount. So you can trade, hedge, and earn, all powered by Aster. And they posted this screenshot over here. I'm surprised they haven't really deleted the tweet by what's going on. Aster is now supported as margin asset, right? It's we're talking about like basically USDT, right? You would use USDT as the margin to trade on a futures market, but now you can use Aster itself. We also see other stuff like you could use Bitcoin, I think. On this one, for example, perpetual futures. Come on. Where's the other one? Coin margin perpetual futures. So like you could use Bitcoin, right, to buy any asset. Stuff like that, right? Let me just get out of here before I accidentally spend Bitcoin or something. They posted this screenshot and look at the balance over here. 2,090,598.14 Asters. Seem familiar? No? Well, guess what? That is the exact amount that CZ just purchased over here. Aster available, 2,090,598.14 up to the decimal. CZ's buy amount and the amount from Aster's official post are the exact same. Is that a coincidence? Why does this matter? Is because of what CZ just said over here, that he bought some Aster today using his own money on Binance. But then we're showing this screenshot over here with, using Aster as collateral. It's like, it's the same amount, even the decimals, using my own money. Whose money did you use, actually? It's basically what's going on. Freudian slip. Yeah, pretty funny. But there you go. Anyways, I did briefly discuss this as well. Binance has been selected as the validator for the Say network There you go. And here's just, I don't even know if I want to go through all this. I don't think I will. But it's basically how Zach XBT managed to join the BNB chain. Basically, like, he lost a lot of money in a scam. He decided to hunt down the scammers, and that's what he became known for as the years passed. And he's gotten a lot of recognition. He's remained anonymous, and everybody uses, you know, you got hacked or a big hack happens, everybody runs to this man, Zach XBT, to trace back the addresses to figure out who it belongs to. He's an expert on this kind of stuff, and he makes his money from donations, right? And now he has good relations with CZ and has recently joined BNB chain. There's your little summary on Zach XBT if you care. Because we talked about him yesterday, the fact that he was joining BNB chain. People were a bit upset about that, but that whole post explains why. Google partners with crypto prediction platform Polymarket to integrate directly into search. That would be pretty cool. It's like you're looking up, I don't know, a sports match. I don't watch sports at all, but just in case, I don't know if that's probably the most used scenario. You look up whatever soccer match is coming up next. And then if Polymarket gets integrated into the search, it will show you, like, here's what the prediction markets say. There's a 60% chance of this team winning and a 40% chance of that team winning, right? So that would be pretty cool, this integration. I'm excited to see that. And last news is Elon Musk says maybe SpaceX should become a public company. Yay, we can probably maybe soon trade SpaceX on the stock markets. What is this line? Okay. So that pretty much sums it all up. What did we do here? Aptos is still on the rise. Looks like I made an okay decision. It's fine. We'll leave it there. Yep, that is all for today then, guys. I'm really tired, but yeah. We're going to see how this whole situation plays out. Of course, the government shutdown, we do need that to end urgently so Chainlink can pump, so that a lot of other altcoins can pump with their ETFs that will be getting approved. They should have been approved, lots of them. No XRP ETF yet, by the way, except for Rex Osprey. But I don't know why they're excluding Rex Osprey out of the question here. The Solana ETFs have been doing fine, despite the fact that Solana has been crashing bitwise. I've noticed have been buying. I'll just briefly go over that. Yep, constant inflows, and similar with Grayscale. Not as big, but at least it's not eternal outflows, so that's pretty good. Can't say the same for Ethereum and Bitcoin's ETFs, though. We've seen a lot of outflows on those. So obviously that has also been suppressing the price a little bit. Today so far is an inflow day. Oh, and we even got numbers from BlackRock. Oh, that's interesting. Now because I stream late, we do get numbers from BlackRock. Before, when I used to stream at 9, we were never able to see these numbers. It was always like the dashes because the day hasn't passed. So they like to report at the very last second is what it seems like. Now that it's literally 12 a.m., we see the numbers. So that's cool. A little side tip. Yeah, okay. I think that's all then for tonight. Yep. I will see you tomorrow again. We will analyze whatever has happened. And of course, well, yeah, if you care about my projection, I do expect that this is bottom or close to bottom, right? We still have a chance of, since we are in a strong downtrend, make another dip to no lower than 96,000 is what I'm expecting, and then bouncing back up. But ultimately, things are pointing towards whatever next resistance we do have that is close, which is looking probably like this downtrend line, wherever that may coincide. Super trend is still, you know, on its way down for Bitcoin and most assets. So yeah, Bitcoin's on the rise, 102,000. There you go. Great way to end the stream on a positive note. Thanks guys so much for watching. Subscribe. And that's all. See you tomorrow.